How do you play against the refs? And how do you play against just pure hate?
Bandwagon Buffs, man. Hell of a game. 2 went for 500. BWB.
Bandwagon Buffs.
That's right. Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon Buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Family, I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. That's right, let's go ahead and work today. We got a little bit of work to do because there's something I want to speak about that I think the NCAA needs to step in to make sure that these young men do not get hurt anymore. It comes from a lot of different things. I'm not sure if you guys remember during the ASU game, the Arizona State game, the students are actually yelling overrated, overrated. And I'm like, overrated? This team is underrated. If anything, the CU Buffs are underrated. I don't know who has them rated at any level. Everybody has been down in this team. Everybody has said this team sucks. This team is going to lose all the games. Nobody has ever rated this team higher than they're supposed to be rated. I think I know where this is coming from. The NCAA really needs to step up and take control of this because I don't want this stuff to get worse and I don't want nobody else to get hurt. Coach Prime was asked in his press conference about that cheap shot that was taken by that player from the ASU team. And Coach Prime said that he spoke with Kenny Dillingham, the ASU coach, and all is well. I hear you, coach. I hear you, but it's not stopping. It keeps happening. Taking the high road is always the best way to go. Even though you said all is well, I pray to God that all is well with the other teams that we got to play. While I'm for the high road, I feel like somebody, the AD, Rick George, somebody from that staff has to hold the NCAA accountable. Y'all should be making some calls. Y'all should be talking to some people to make sure that the NCAA understands that if this continues to happen, somebody's going to get sued. It is not their fault that they have a coach like Coach Prime who is just trailblazer. It's not their fault. It's like somebody just being upset with you because you're blessed. It's like people say, don't hate the player, hate the game. Travis Hunter was also targeted with that hit from Henry Blackburn. ASU also got a player ejected with the same thing. But I think this is stemming from not necessarily the fact that they are overrated. I just feel like the attention that they're getting from the media, people talking about them, is causing these other players to feel some kind of way. If the NCAA does not step in to make sure that they send a message to all of these schools to let them know, play football. Forget about everything else. Just play football. This type of behavior is going to continue. Right now, it feels like it's personal with them. Like somebody says something about them. If you just take a look at it, nobody has anything ill to say about any of the teams. The CU players don't say anything negative about any other team. Now, have they done some boneheaded stuff during the season, like stepping on the O and yanking somebody's bandana off and just saying some crazy things? Yes, but the other players are doing the same thing. It's not like the CU players are going out of their way to call somebody out of their name. And the leadership, starting with Coach Prime, are not saying anything about anyone. The referees, there are some calls that they're not making either. So it's almost as if they're under that same kind of spell. There have been a lot of plays that have been so blatant against CU that the referees are not calling. It's like they hover the same resentment and sentiment that these players have, and for some odd reason, when they're refereeing these games, either they're just missing some real blatant calls, or they just feel like they're not going to give that call to Coach Prime's team. How do you play against the refs, and how do you play against just pure hate? It's really hard to play good football when the refs are against you. You're not getting regular calls because the ref may feel some kind of way about the attention that is on you. You ain't said nothing. You never complain. You're not a coaching staff or players that complain about any of the calls. I never see a CU player go crazy in front of the ref and say, why didn't you make that call? They just get up, dust themselves off, and keep playing. Coach Prime always has nice things to say about the referees, but it's like they're also taking it personal, as if it's jealousy and envy. You cannot have the refs against you. Where is the accountability? Where do you turn when everybody is against you? Where do you go? If the NCAA and its refs, they can't be held accountable, who do you hold accountable for those type of egregious offenses? The refs are not making certain critical calls, and some of these players are taking it upon themselves to take cheap shots. But how long is this going to happen until somebody says, hey, young man, this is not how you play this game. Your season is over. We have to send a stronger message to these players instead of just, okay, now your game is over. If you say, hey, if you target a player in that way again, if you target one of these players, your season is over. It's going to send a stronger message to all of these other players to know that if you're going to be taking cheap shots, you're not just only going to not play in this game, but your college career will be over. Something got to happen. Where is it going to come from? Who is it going to come from? Who's the grown up in the room when it comes to the NCAA and its ruling body? Somebody got to say something, man, because what I don't want is to get another player hurt because you are messing with people's lives. You're messing with careers. Some of these young men, this is their last year of eligibility, and you're messing with people's lives. People trying to feed their family. Somebody going to have to step up and say enough is enough. The next time we see this happen, there are going to be some major consequences. It's just like Coach Prime said in his press conference. They're not playing against these young men. They're playing against me. They actually think that they're playing against Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is not playing any longer. He's coaching on the sideline. You're not lining up against Deion Sanders. He's not the cornerback marking your wide receivers. But it seems like all of these teams and all of these schools are taking this stuff so personal, like they're playing against Deion Sanders. I don't like the fact that he's so bombastic. I don't like the fact he's so confident. So at the end of the day, this is what I'm going to do to his players. I'm going to take one of his players out. If you're jealous, you're envious, you're just going to blindside hit somebody. These kids are actually starting to weaponize their helmets and they're weaponizing their pads. And I believe it's time that the NCAA steps up, stop hating on Deion Sanders, stop feeling jealous and envious. Also, stop sending anonymous coaches to say anonymous stuff about the players for the simple fact that you just don't like Deion Sanders. Your lack of action is emboldening a lot of these players to take some cheap shots that may get somebody hurt, maybe next time even worse. If you can, send this video at NCAA on Twitter. Let them know, guys. Send them a message. Let them know. Like, this has to stop. Anyways, I want y'all to sound off. Let me know what y'all think. And if anybody has connections with the NCAA and their ruling body, if anybody has connections with CU, Rick George, if you're listening, if you're watching, y'all have to start petitioning that NCAA body to make sure you're protecting these young men. Somebody has to protect these young men. It's your job to protect these young men. That's all I'm saying. Okay, family, that is all the information that I have for this video. I hope you got a little something out of it. And if you did, please make sure to smash that subscribe button to help this channel grow. That's all I do here. I'm going to have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B. And that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP Sports Club.